My name is Dominic J. Butchko, and to the right of me is Madison Kaminsky. We are the chair and vice chair of the Wilkes University College Democrats.
First of all, I want to thank the College Democrats here at Wilkes College. What an event you've put together, so well organized and well attended, with an impressive list of candidates that are going to be speaking here today, and my compliments to them. First, I would like to introduce to you our lieutenant gubernatorial candidates, and the first is our current sitting Lieutenant Governor Stack, a former state senator, served as president of the state senate, and currently chairs the Board of Pardons and Local Government Advisory Commission. Please welcome Lieutenant Michael Stack.
I'll keep that song going. Guys, how are you? Thanks everybody for being here. So, Democrats got to win this year, right? Thank you for being here. Look, I got 3 minutes. So thanks, Dom, for getting this together. One more time for Dom. Getting this the Wilkes Democratic Club together. Biggest issues I'm talking about today, in addition to making sure that education is affordable for these young people so that they don't graduate bankrupt, and we shoot ourselves in the foot because they can't get the best jobs to make this the best state. So we got to make college tuition affordable. I've been working on that. Let's all work on that together. Criminal justice reform. Started a program that's a national model now called Pathway to Pardons. Talking to my friends with the NAACP about this program. We're helping give people a second chance. People who were hopeless for years with criminal records, we're helping them through the pardons process get their records completely cleared. So they can join us, they can do the great jobs, they can be volunteers, they can support their families, they can get housing, education, all the things we need them to do to be the best citizens. They have paid their dues. It's time that we turn around, encourage them for that, and help them to join society as a full member. That's equality, that's justice, that's America. So, started a veterans task force. We still just don't do our best for the veterans. I served in the National Guard for 8 years. I've met the best people in the world. Our veterans are still dealing with homelessness, mental illness, drug addiction, unemployment, brain trauma. So our Lieutenant Governor's task force is meeting a lot of those needs, but folks, we can never do enough for our veterans. Can we please take care of our veterans for all they've done for us at least this one time? Let's do it together. On gerrymandering reform, you know, what a corrupt process, and the Republicans got away with it for years. So we fought them in court. I was in the lawsuit with the League of Women Voters, and we were able to win because everybody worked so hard to get us a good Supreme Court. And so they were about justice and fairness and equality. And so because we won that suit, we were able to also offer some different maps to the court, which many of the my proposals the court adopted. We think we're going to be able to pick up, let's say, 5, 6, or 7 new congressional seats if we Democrats do all we're supposed to. Pennsylvania will finally be represented in Washington like it should be, and every vote will count. What's wrong with that, right? So, and we hear about the mass incarceration issue. You know, in the Senate I worked on this issue, and as Lieutenant Governor I've been able to be impactful on it in that through the commutation process, we in addition to pardons, we can vote to commute sentences that were life in prison without chance of parole. And you know, Pennsylvania is second only to Florida in life sentences, so it's ridiculous. I'm happy to tell you we were able to vote on more commutations of life prison sentences so people can go free after unnecessarily cruel and punishing sentences. More commutations than the last 3 lieutenant governors combined. And by the way, that's a 2-part process, so it requires Governor Wolf to sign off on it. We send him the commutations. He signed off. Governor Wolf's doing a great job because he believes in justice. So I also want to tell you, Matt Cartwright's here. We changed Matt Cartwright's district because of redistricting, and we got to get Matt Cartwright reelected. Guys, thank you for all you do. Let's win. Please support me. Wolf Stack again. We can win.
Our next candidate that I'm going to announce and describe unfortunately is unable to be here today. There was a family matter, an emergency that requires her to be at home. But I do want to introduce her name and describe her generally, who's an exceptionally well-qualified candidate, Kathy Cozzone, a 3-term Chester County Commissioner, the first Vice President of Commissioners Association of Pennsylvania, and appointed by Governor Wolf to several and numerous boards and commissions. Kathy, our thoughts and prayers are with you and your family, and we wish you the very best. Next, I would like to introduce to you, I would like to characterize, and I think many people would not object, as perhaps our most unique lieutenant gubernatorial candidate. And it's with good reason. He brings a very different perspective and life experience and understanding of social issues and economic issues. From Western Pennsylvania, the mayor of Braddock, who began his career working with underprivileged youth through AmeriCorps, along with his wife, who has started numerous nonprofits in southwestern Pennsylvania. I'd like to introduce to you now John Fetterman. John.
Channeling my inner Beavis and Butthead. You know, for all the times I've been asked, were you a former professional wrestler, I finally get to introduce and walk into a room to AC/DC. So this is the second time in less than a week that I've been on a on a college campus, where the last time I set foot on it, I was in football pads and helmet, knocking heads and having my head knocked. So it's amazing to be back, and I just want to thank you guys for putting this together, and it is a true pleasure and honor to be here today. So I'm running for lieutenant governor for a lot of reasons, and I'm mayor of Braddock, Pennsylvania. Has anyone heard of Braddock? Small community in western Pennsylvania, but a very important and storied one. Andrew Carnegie built his first steel mill ever in my community, and it went from a small community to a large community of unrivaled prosperity and wealth. And we know, because we live in this region, what happened with that deindustrialization to Pennsylvania all across. And my community became one of the most challenged ones. And I showed up in 2001 to start some programming to help young people get their lives back on track. And that program is still in operation today, 17 years later, and is now responsible for 1,000 young people earning their general equivalency degrees over the years. Thank you. Four years into it, 2 of my students were shot to death in a very violent and public manner. And I decided right then and there I wanted to do something about it. I wanted to fight back. But I didn't have the ability to do it on my own. But I decided to run for mayor. And the reason why I made a successful run is because the young people that I worked with, the young people that I served, ended up registering to vote and knocked on doors with me. You know, we knocked on every door in our community, and I won that first election by 1 single vote. 1 single vote is the reason why I'm standing here in front of you today. And to Jack Hanna's point, every vote matters, every county matters, and that's been the core message of our campaign. And since then, 3 more terms as mayor of Braddock, Pennsylvania, we have taken on some of the most difficult issues that Democrats can take on. I'm most proud of saying we eliminated gun violence and gun deaths in our community for 5.5 continuous years in our community. A community that did not have a functioning restaurant within its borders for 30 years now today has 4 of them, including one that brought Anthony Bourdain and his show Parts Unknown to our community. Hey, yeah. And was just named Food and Wine one of the best new restaurants in America. And I'm also proud to say I officiated the first same-sex wedding as a state official in Pennsylvania as well, too, when it was still illegal to do so. I'm here today to make a pitch. Last night I was on stage with Bernie Sanders down in downtown Philadelphia. Proud to say I have his endorsement. I'm proud to say that I have the United Steelworkers endorsement too, statewide. I'm proud to say I have a broad coalition of endorsements. And my pitch to you guys is we have to bring those persuadable Democrats back to our party in 2018. My pitch to you guys is to say, help me, help Governor Wolf, bring those persuadable Democrats back all across Pennsylvania so we can turn Pennsylvania blue in 2018 so he can safeguard all the people, places, and policies we in this room all collectively care about. Thank you very much. It's a great honor to be here.
Our next candidate, as far as statewide politics is concerned, is a newcomer, so to speak, but not to be ignored, and has run a very impressive campaign thus far. A Montgomery County businessman, he's been a part of the governor's advisory boards on emergency management, human rights advocacy, and has provided legislative policy and advice to 3 governors. I'm happy and pleased and honored to introduce to you Ray Sosa. Ray!
Tell me that song is not just awesome. Nobody knows the lyrics, but it's just awesome. So, guys, it's a pleasure to be here, okay? Luzerne County is one of my favorite counties. I've been here for many, many years for business. Harvey's Lake, the grotto, you can beat that. So, thank you. I'm here with my wife. We're expecting our first child, July 21st. Nothing but blessings, okay? So, I like to remind everybody that this is a job interview. Okay, it's not about how much of a celebrity you are, how many endorsements. It's about doing the job. And the fact that you're affecting a small little part of Pennsylvania doesn't mean that you have the state experience to make the position viable. Okay, I've been appointed by 3 governors, like you heard, from everything from legislative affairs all the way to emergency management. And as an example, I tell everybody, this is why experience matters. We went through 2 blizzards. I know that I saw 11 upside down semis on the road. We lost our power for 3 weeks. Did you see one single incumbent share their emergency management experience on TV to see what the state was doing? No, this is why experience matters, okay? I'm an expert in interagency cooperation. I'm an expert in emergency management. Okay, I've added 4 positions to my campaign. By the way, I'm currently the first Hispanic to ever be on the ballot for lieutenant governor in the history of the state. So we're very, very proud. I'm sure my people back there are proud too, so thank you. First position, help for our prisoners who are paying their debt to society. They deserve compulsory education. The state should take the burden of post-prison opportunities. And I've done it before, and I know how it's done. Okay, we're sitting in 75% recidivism. Our position for our farmers are in rural areas. We don't have infrastructure for generations to compete with anybody. We don't have taxation that's crop specific. I come from a family of farmers, and it's just what we're going through is impossible. Okay, and I know that some people in the room could relate. Okay, we're waiting for the same road for 2 generations, and we keep hearing the same promise every cycle that needs to end. Okay, 3rd position, permanent funding for our school system. Our teachers need to get paid what they have to pay themselves, and they're not getting refunded. Okay, that's a sin. And our infrastructure in schools is just a shame. Okay, they don't even have internet to compete with anybody. And I've had the opportunity to visit a whole bunch of schools. Guys, why am I the better candidate right now? Because I do have the experience. I'm the most underfunded, I have to admit it, okay? But it's a job. And you guys are hiring, you can't fire whoever you hire for 4 years. So think about it. This is something that affects generations. So I'm Ray Sosa, my loan signs are there. Thank you so much, and I'll be around for questions. Thank you.
You're very fortunate to have had this congressman since 2013. He's the regional whip and has fought for government reform, advocated for income equality and stability for Pennsylvania's working class families. I'm honored and pleased to introduce to you Congressman Cartwright. Congressman, yay!
All right, everybody, we're going to rock and roll all night. Well, we're going to rock and roll for 3 minutes. How's everybody doing? Any Democrats in the house? Yeah. Hello, it's 2018. Are we fired up? Are we ready to go? Yes, we are. There is an energy out there, and where I work, you can feel it. And it starts with Pennsylvania. What did we just do? We just figured out the redistricting. We got rid of nasty Republican gerrymandering. We did. And who did it? Our wonderful Supreme Court of Pennsylvania. Remember, in 2015, we went around, we got these wonderful justices elected. Christine Donahue, David Wecht, Justice Doherty. And they had the intestinal fortitude to take on gerrymandering, and they won, and we figured it out. And you know, I've been serving in the U.S. House with a Pennsylvania delegation that's 13-5 Republican for the last 5.5 years. It's terrible. And not a single woman, by the way, which is embarrassing. And all of a sudden, we have a chance under the new map, and where's Denny Wolf? Denny Wolf, all right. Under this new map, we have a chance to turn this delegation from 13-5 Republican to 11-7 Democrat. Would that be awesome? We could flip 6 seats. And nationwide, there's an energy out there. You can feel it. It started with the Million Woman March. It went on through the Environmental March, the Science March, all of these wonderful activisms that are going on right now, and you can feel the energy, and I can sense we're going to win the House back in the United States House of Representatives. I'm Matt Cartwright, and I represent the new 8th District. I'm running for the new 8th District of Pennsylvania, and this is the northeast corner. We have wonderful areas, most of Luzerne County, all of Lackawanna County, all of Wayne and Pike, most of Monroe County. I'm here to say these are places that I know, places that I love. I want to stick up for the people in this area and stand up for solid core democratic values that all of us share in this room. I'm here to say, let's get together. Let's roll up our sleeves. Let's work, because elections have consequences. You can see the horrendous things that are going on in Washington right now. It means it's on us. We have to work harder. We have to get out and knock doors. We have to make those phone calls. We have to get the persuadable people to the polls. And we need to win in 2018 and make America a much, much better place than it has been for the last couple of years. What do you think, everybody? Let's do it.
Next, let's move on to the 9th Congressional District. As the Congressman just mentioned before, we have unique opportunities here in Pennsylvania because of the successful challenge of the dice loading congressional district maps that the Republicans imposed on us in 2011. And with good cause, those were changed. We now have a more balanced representation throughout the state of the design of our congressional districts, and we have a unique opportunity in the 9th to win this year. The next candidate that I would like to introduce to you is a Teamster, and I can vouch for the impact and effect that labor has had on Democratic Party candidates in the past, including our special election earlier this year with the 18th, with Condor Lamb's victory. So very important. She's also a member of the Women's Leadership Network, worked on international exchange programs, and sits on the board of the United Way of the Capital Region. I'd like to introduce to you next, candidate Laura Quick. Laura.
That is my jam, man. Titanium, that's what I feel like. I'm not a steel worker, I am a Teamster, but... So, yes, my name is Laura Quick. I come from Lebanon County, which is in the southern part from here. And I was born and raised in Lebanon County. I graduated from Palmyra High School in 1984. Went on to the western side of the state, to university at IUP, Indiana University of Pennsylvania. I have a fellow alum up here with me. Within my sophomore year, I went out to studied in England at Roxton College and Oxford University. I finished my studies at IUP with an internship at United States Information Agency in Washington, D.C. Continued to work and live in Washington, D.C. in international exchange for high school students, Youth for Understanding. Then followed my heart to France, where I taught English for 3 years. Came back, got my certification to teach English, taught English here in the States. But today I'm a package car driver for UPS, which makes me a Teamster. Yes, thank you, yes. And I have a full endorsement by the Teamsters. I got that back in December, and it was very touching because they're standing behind me because I stand behind the working people. The reason I'm no longer a teacher, though, is because of healthcare. So my life informs very much my platforms. I'm not going to go into platforms. I'm a virtual unknown up here. If you could please go to quickforcongress.com. You can find out more about where my platforms stand, because I'd like to address as to why I am the best candidate to represent the new Ninth. And I feel that I've got the grit and the intellectual discipline in order to make an effective legislator. In endorsements, I'm also endorsed by the Brotherhood of Locomotive Engineers and Trainmen, and the Pennsylvania AFL-CIO, and the Greater Reading PAC, which is out of Berks County, one of the 8 counties that it's in the 9th. And I got the, has anyone ever heard of Moms Demand Action? Yes, gun sense. And they don't give endorsements, they give distinctions. So I have the distinction of a gun sense candidate because we need a little more gun sense, that's for sure. Yes, I agree. This is an open seat. This is our chance, guys. I want to make sure that we get this. This is our chance to make it blue right out the get-go. So I want to make with my grit and intellectual discipline, I want to be able to serve the people here, go down there, day one. Day one, I want to be able to hit the ground running. I'm going to be studying up, if elected. I'm going to be studying the parliamentary procedures to make sure that we need to change this tide of our rights and our protections that are being taken away from us on a daily basis. And I want to put that hard work ethic that I did, that I've had as a package car driver, I want to put those to work down in Washington, D.C. I want to put the represent back in representative.
Our next candidate that we're going to hear from for the 9th Congressional District is an experienced politician who was the former Pennsylvania Agriculture Secretary. I believe the largest industry here in the Commonwealth. A 5th-generation dairy farmer, a Columbia County resident who has advised both the Clinton and Bush administrations and is founder of Camp Victory, a camp for kids with special needs. I'm very happy and pleased to introduce to you Denny Wolf. Denny.
What a great day to be a Democrat in Luzerne County. This is, I love the enthusiasm. We have been many different counties in the past 2 weeks, and the enthusiasm and the turnout has been fantastic. So keep it up. We have a primary coming up, and then obviously November is going to be a real report card for us, so we have a great chance. I know Ray talked a little bit about being in charge of PEMA, emergency management. And as a dairy farmer for the last 6 months, I feel like I've been in charge of emergency management. It's been a real challenge for the dairy farmers, lots of issues out there, and I know that that's at certainly the center of the agenda for many folks as they look at the new farm bill going forward. I think that there's such a long list of things that we need to do. I tell people, look, if you're looking for a candidate that's going to draw a line in the sand and throw a hand grenade to the other side, you've got the wrong candidate. If you're looking for someone who wants to come forward, extend their hand and say, we've got a big agenda in front of us, let's figure out how we're going to work together and how we're going to solve these problems, then you want to support me. I like the enthusiasm, love enthusiasm. Long list, as I said, it's everything from jobs. They project that there will be 3.5 million new jobs in the next 7 years. They also say that 2 million of those jobs will not be filled because we do not have a career ready workforce to take those jobs. Therein lies a real challenge, and that's something we have to take care of here in the 9th Congressional District. We want to keep people here. We want to keep them in the 9th Congressional District, and we want them to take advantage of those jobs so they have higher paying jobs and we can grow the economy right here in Pennsylvania. One of the other things that's so critical, northeastern Pennsylvania, broadband. 800,000 people in Pennsylvania do not have broadband. Big problem. Doesn't matter whether you're a dairy farmer with a GPS system on his tractor where he's trying to do precision agriculture, or whether you're a small business located in Bradford County that's trying to pick up a manual and order parts for someone that comes into their shop. Certainly that's one of the issues. The list goes on and on. It's a matter of whether it's healthcare reform, immigration reform, many issues. I look forward to representing you. On May 15th, I would really appreciate your support. Thank you very much.
Due to a personal matter, the third candidate for the 9th Congressional District is unable to attend, Gary Wegman. Gary is a small business owner, doctor, and a farmer, serves on the Reading Development Authority, and is actively engaged in his community. He's running for Congress because Pennsylvania needs a doctor and a farmer to serve the needs of the U.S. Congress. With willingness to take the tough stands, move our country forward, and elevate our region and communities, Dr. Wegman is ready to work together in Congress on behalf of his constituents to solve problems. Thank you. Next, we are now going to move on to the state representative delegation that we have. Our next candidate and elected official that we're going to hear from is active with the leadership of the House Democratic Campaign Committee, straddles both Luzerne and Lackawanna counties, and has served his district very well. In the 118th, I'm happy to introduce to you and honored Mike Carroll. Mike, please.
Okay, thanks so much, Jack. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you to Dominic and all the folks that put this together. I just said to Tom a minute ago, you know, it's easy to do nothing. It's hard to do something. So hats off to those that did something today by putting this together. So thank you all. You know, I have the great opportunity to serve in the State House with two other fellow Democrats, Eddie Day and Jerry Mullery, who you'll hear from shortly, and 80 others across the state. And that number is going to grow this November. But I can tell you this, that it's important as we think about all the different things that the candidates and the elected officials say today in terms of policies they want to implement. I think it's important to highlight things maybe from 10,000 feet. Because I think our Democratic Party is the party that embraces creativity. Our Democratic Party is the party that embraces diversity. Our Democratic Party is the party that understands the thoughtfulness in governing is important, not just simply saying no. It's important that we have a General Assembly and a government, generally speaking, that understands the needs of the folks throughout this great state. We have a wildly diverse state that has many, many needs. And the reality is that our government, our state government in particular, has to do a far better job of making sure that we're responsive to the needs of folks across this great state. You know, we have the ability here with the election of additional Democrats in the State House to be far more effective and especially allow Governor Tom Wolf to be more effective. It'd be a lot better for Governor Wolf in Harrisburg to have a few more Democrats in the State House and the State Senate so that we could actually get a few bills passed without having to play defense 5 days a week. So I greatly appreciate the opportunity to be here today. I can tell you it's the highest of honors to represent the folks of Luzerne County, Plains and Laughlin, and up into the Pittston Area School District, and then the folks in Lackawanna County in North Pocono. It's a high honor and a tremendous honor to serve those folks and cast what I think are informed and thoughtful votes on their behalf. And furthermore, to be the most passionate advocate you can be for the folks that you represent, and I'm passionate about the folks of both Lackawanna and Luzerne County. Thank you all for being here today.
The next state representative I would like to introduce to you is from the 119th, Mike Carroll. Mike, please come forward. I'm sorry, excuse me, Jerry Mullery, excuse me. My apologies, Jerry. That's why he's state rep and I'm not. Come forward, Jerry.
Thank you very much. Detroit Rock City, I like it. As the representative from Nanticoke, I was hoping to get like the beer barrel polka or something along those lines. But I'll take KISS any day of the week. Listen, after listening to Congressman Cartwright speak and after listening to Denny and Laura speak, from a state representative who for 8 years has had, I will call it the displeasure of having zero cooperation from my congressman in Washington, D.C., a gentleman whose name I will not say, we'll just call him the gentleman from southern Luzerne County. I cannot wait to work with Congressman Cartwright and either Denny or Laura, or whoever brings home the seat in the ninth. So I wish you all the best of luck. I'll tell you, the most important thing that I'm working on in Harrisburg right now will have a dramatic impact on the economy of our Commonwealth. And you need look no further than to a lot of the people in the room who are the heart and soul of the Democratic Party, and that is our union brothers and sisters. Our Teamsters, our steel workers, our iron workers, our plumbers, our pipe fitters, all of our tradespeople. Because right now, whether you're in the 119th Legislative District in Nanticoke or Luzerne County or northeastern Pennsylvania or any of the four corners of this Commonwealth, we have a shortage of skilled and trained workers. And I, along with members from the opposite side of the aisle, have worked on a bipartisan package of bills to increase awareness of vocational and skilled trades in the Commonwealth because they are in dire need. We have employers that we meet with in our capacity as state representative on a daily basis who are coming to us telling us, I have positions that pay family-sustaining wages and I can't get quality applicants. Well, we've worked on and we passed last week a bipartisan package of 8 bills to let people know that there's an alternative path, that you don't have to come to a great institution like Wilkes University or King's College or College Misericordia to get a high-paying, respectable, family-sustaining job. And hopefully, with that package of bills enacted by the governor, we'll be able to provide an alternative route for our young people so that they can be productive members of our society. The second half of my message is this. There's a lot of energy here. In my 8 years in office, I have never seen the level of activism in the Democratic Party like I've seen this year. Whether it's at rallies like this, meetings in my district office, people coming down to Harrisburg to talk about what we can do to change the future, people stopping me at the food mart, people stopping me at my kids' baseball games, we are fired up. For the first time, and I can't tell you how many years, we have 180 Democratic candidates seeking the 203 House seats, which is a great thing, and Mike Carroll deserves some applause for that. However, there is one embarrassing part of that, and that is that our 3 sitting Republican state representatives right here in Luzerne County do not have opponents. So if you're here tonight and you're fired up and you believe in this Democratic message and you're from Hazleton or you're from the Back Mountain or you're from the West Side communities, you have 10 days to mount a write-in campaign and challenge Tara Hill, Karen Boback, and Aaron Coffer. Thank you very much.
Last but not least, I'm pleased and happy to introduce to you a state representative that understands and appreciates union and union organizing. Unions and union organizing, and I can tell you as a person that has been involved with Democratic Party candidates in elections for decades, that the unions have been one of the backbones of our party and advocates the interests of all working class people, no matter whether they're union members or not. A former teacher that also appreciates and understands the value of a quality education. And as we look across the United States these days and see the challenges that teachers have in Arizona and West Virginia and Kentucky, we need someone to advocate for our teachers and for our educational system, unlike the Republican Party that wants to decimate and privatize it. I'm pleased and happy to introduce to you now Eddie Day Pashinsky. Eddie Day.
Why did we fight? Why are we blown away tonight. That's a song from the Starfires. I thought you were gonna play TNT for me. Boy, it's so good to be with all of you. Thank you all for coming out. Action together, thank you. Wendy, Dempack, thank you. Who else we have? We had Joey Padovan and Tommy out there. Thank you. Listen, this is what it's gonna take. My question to you is this. Are you up to the challenge? I said, are you up to the challenge? What is the challenge? What is it? What is the challenge? I want you to think for just a minute. Our democracy is in jeopardy. Everything that our forefathers, everything that we fought for the working class people, is in jeopardy. Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, a good public education, the right to bargain, all of those things are in jeopardy. All of those things was made to build the middle class, whether you're a union member or not. Because as that union was able to get a decent wage, some benefits, a pension, some health care, the non-union guys also got paid. You know, the ships rising together? All of that is in jeopardy. How do I know that? I'm living it. I see the bills that are coming before us. Everything is to take away the safeguards that protected working people. We cannot let that happen. We cannot let that happen. And I'm going to tell you what I'm very worried about. I'm worried because the Democratic Party represents all. We don't just represent the rich and powerful. We represent all. Environmentalists, LGBTQ, Second Amendment, pro-life, women's issues, union issues. How did those guys win? Because they divided us. We cannot be divided. When we are divided, they win. Why do they divide us? Because the rich and the powerful represent only this much of the country. This much of the country. I have nothing against people that are rich and powerful. Good for them. But they shouldn't beat up on regular people. What's enough? How much is enough? It's not enough because they want it all. You got that? I'm living it. I see it. I'm saying to you, no matter what happens, we all must stick together, regardless of what your main issue is. As Democrats, we must stick together. And we must stick together also for our democracy. Because what's going on in Washington right now is what? They don't follow the law. They don't follow the rules. Their attitude is, try to stop me. That's their attitude. We follow the law. Everything we taught our children to be good, decent, respectful people. Follow the law. Work hard, and you can get somewhere. They're taking that all away. Are you going to let it happen? I said, are you going to let it happen? Your lives are at stake. I'm proud to stand with you. I am humbled to be in this position. Humbled. It's an honor for me to stand up for you. And every day that we're down there and we fight just to defend, because the majority controls it all. Give us the majority. Those bills will not be there, and we will protect your Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, education, health care, all of it. Are you ready? Yes. Are you ready for what? You're ready to what? Rumble! Yeah! Democrats, be proud, man, and get out there and vote. You and your family. Thank you, Jack.
Now, we're going to revert back to our lieutenant gubernatorial candidates. We have one final candidate who just arrived that I'm very pleased and happy to introduce. We first met in 2012 in Charlotte, North Carolina at the convention. This is a person who is extraordinarily talented, a PhD, chemistry or physics, one of the two, a civil rights activist, first generation Bangladeshi American, former deputy mayor of Philadelphia under Mayor Kenney, president of the Philadelphia Now organization, and serves on the board of the Philadelphia Foundation. I'm very honored and pleased to introduce to you Nina Ahmad. Nina, welcome.
Good afternoon. How are you? Better late than never. We got a little comedy errors about getting here, but it gave me a chance to drive around thanks to Savannah. Where's Savannah? There's Savannah, who drove me here and did a great job. So wonderful to be here. I'm running to be hopefully your next Lieutenant Governor for the Commonwealth. And let me tell you why I'm running. Jack did me a great, read out my bio. I'm not going to spend too much time on that. So first, the Democratic Party since 2016 has won over 30 races. Guess who's been driving those wins? Women. Women have been driving those races. The Connor Lamb race was women. When we look at Alabama, women, particularly African American women. So I think it is time for the state of Pennsylvania to have a woman serve in statewide executive office. We have none. We've had only one lieutenant governor who's been a woman, never a person of color. So in 2018, I would like to be part of that wall that we're building of decency and integrity that is pushing back on number 45 and saying, we are not going down the path of hatred and bigotry. We are going to stand firm, and we are going to let him and others know that Pennsylvania is going to be a warm and welcoming state. As you heard that, I've been an activist for a long time. I was the president of the local chapter of Now, a deputy mayor for public engagement for the city of Philadelphia. All of those things, including an immigrant. So those are all things that I think signal to our new Pennsylvania to be a brand ambassador where we bring equity in all these spaces that I occupy. Having a seat at the table is really important because your lived experiences help you shape policy that reflect other people's needs. That's what I did in the mayor's office. It was very critical to be that person who could make sure people trusted their government. That is something we are missing. Integrity and accountability is critical. And people trust you when you invite them to the table and help them shape the policy that will affect them. So the mantra in my office was, no decision about me without me. And I want to bring that to state government as well. As you know, the Me Too issue has been rampant, but it's been rampant for forever. We're just hearing about it now. And when you deny people full participation, you're really denying them the economic opportunities to participate in driving how well we do in our state. So it's very critical that all of us, with all the voices, talking about healthcare for all, I believe in single payer, public education, making sure we have a formula fund that is actually funded across the budget, not just for 6%. When you talk about clean energy, because I'm a scientist, I'm worried about clean energy and what's happening to our environment. We can do it thoughtfully, we can reskill and upskill people with making sure that people in those industries right now, fossil fuel, don't feel marginalized. We must include everybody's voices. When I think about mass incarceration, that is one of our biggest issues facing not just Philadelphia County, but as a state. It is about fairness and justice. I'm very happy to say I was endorsed by the oldest and continuously published African American newspaper in the country, the Philadelphia Tribune. I woke up to their endorsement this morning. So I was really, really proud to get that and humbled. And I want to make sure that I am that conduit for all of you to have a place at the table. Thank you.
So next, I have the pleasure of introducing to you the state Democratic committee candidates. They're going to be on the ballot. And this is a group of candidates that I personally have great respect for and admire and value their work. They are the conduit, the connection, the people that provide you with an understanding of what is going on in state Democratic Party politics to their local communities and counties. And they serve without pay, with a great deal of commitment and energy, and even a financial commitment to serve in those positions. We value them. They are the mainstay of our party, along with our county committee members, and are very important, and I commend them for being on the ballot and wish them all the best of luck. I'm going to read their names in the order that they appear on the ballot. First, we have Wendy Kaminsky. Wendy. Next, we have Marilyn Calderon. Alicia Hoffman Marilovich. Thomas Shabula. Nicarol Soto. Ryan Zarkish. Guillermo Laura, also known as Mimo. Janice R. Walsh. And the final candidate who was unable to attend, Paul Maher. Let's give them a hand, everyone. Thank you so much for being candidates and your dedication. Very good. Thank you so much. You have a great group of candidates here, all across the board. And when you compare them to what the Republican Party has to offer, it's a huge contrast. We face a unique crossroads in our country, just as Eddie Day was explaining and talking about to us a few moments ago. And the only way that we can turn this train around is from the efforts of grassroots organizing people that are committed to changing the world. And it doesn't happen in one day, and it won't happen in 1 month, but it can happen come this November. And it's incumbent upon all of us to protect our country and to protect our working class communities, as Wilkes-Barre is such a great reflection of, along with Luzerne County, Lackawanna, and all the rest of the 67 counties in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. I would like to have you now give a round of applause for the candidates, for the county committee members, and also, last but not least, Dom, who did such a great job organizing this event here today. A pleasure to be with you, ladies and gentlemen. Best of luck come May 15th and come November. Dom.
And then to conclude today's event, as the chair of the Wilkes College Democrats, it is so exciting to bring so many incumbents, candidates, and party officials together on campus and in our local community. With that, I do not want to take all this pizza, pop, and candy home, so please eat it. I'm on a diet. Once again, thank you everyone for coming. Please get home safely, and we had a great event. Thank you.